Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. It's the Kevin Jackson Show. British ladies, they were these black British chicks, mostly black, mixed but mostly black. And I watched this interview with them, and this one very boisterous one, she says, I don't like a man who won't put me in my place. And she's holding court with these other black women, and she's like, I don't like the men of today. I mean, these are millennial girls. And she says, I don't like a guy who lets me get away with whatever. She says, if I can tell you to shut up, I don't want you. Not lying. I wish we had the clip. But you can Google it, find out for yourselves. This girl said this. Now, I'm going to tell you something. And I've had a lady call the show, and she says, Kevin, I agree with you. You know, I want a man to be in charge of me, whatever. And she took it a little bit too far. What I was saying is this. Women want roles. You know, like they see the man in a role in their relationship. The same way a man sees a woman as in a role in the relationship. I'm not talking about just sexually. I'm talking about as how they fit together. And here's what I contend. I don't care what these feminists tell you. Feminists are just losers in the game of life. That's what they are. Because real women want real men. And they want it by the definition of societal norms. They don't want these metrosexual pansies. These guys that you know, I mean, I can give you all kinds of different things. I don't want to get anybody offended by this, but I'm just saying they don't want the pansies. They don't want these little millennials that everything's touchy-feely and all that. Now, don't misunderstand me, guys. You got to have emotion. I've learned this as a kid who lost my mother, who passed away in May 1st of 1968. I'm telling you, I was a non-feeling individual for a long time because, you know, I just didn't give a crap. And to some degree, I still don't. And it saved me in many ways. And it saves me to this day because I'm impervious to all the cries of Uncle Tom and Sambo and all the other crap. But the point is that we want leaders. Women want a man to be a man, and they want him to be a man in the sense of what we see manhood to be. Strong, powerful, protector, you know, provider, all that. That's not to say women can't do it themselves. See, that's the difference. When I think about the role of a man, I don't think, oh, I should be a good provider and a strong protector and all that. If the cake hits the fan, I want my girl in the fight. You know what I'm saying? But I don't expect her to be in front of me. So that's what they want. Anyway, these British girls are, they point blank. She's asking these other girls, what do you want? And they're all like, yep. So look, the thing about this is what's funny. Feminism, if you want to call it whatever you want, can be balanced with this idea of having a strong male in your life and a leader. That's where feminism went wrong. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because I'm talking about why we have this lack of leadership. And why conservative men, I mean, don't misunderstand me. I believe in my heart of hearts, it is conservative women who will save the planet. Because they can, it's like with black conservatives, we can save the planet by confronting all this nonsense of race. Women, conservative women can save the planet by confronting all this nonsense of gender. Now, I'll tell you this, as a black man, I will confront gender. I do it all the time. The executives at Fox are mostly women now. We have these discussions a lot. I tell them, look, I appreciate you guys as very strong-willed women. I do. I love it. I embrace it. But I also know your limitations. So, you know, we've had these discussions. But I'm talking about this in the context of leadership. Because what I want to say is this about leaders. The quality of a leader is the standard that they set for themselves. And that's what Donald Trump does. He sets a standard. He says, this is the Trump brand. And what he's translated from the Trump brand is he said, I'm graduating that brand to this is the American brand. Make America great again. America first. Now that's important. And it isn't important because we want to be number one. It's not a competition in the world of what, society is going to be number one. American society is number one. The difference is we aren't bragging about it to say, hoo, in the annals of history, we're number one. We're saying, no, you can be it too. It isn't. That's the other thing about leaders. Leaders don't hold back. They don't go, I wonder if I'm going to let you see all of the, the behind the curtain stuff. I remember this time I was training this guy. I was training out in California for a tournament, a kickboxing tournament. And one of my buddies, we were talking, and I said, man, he was like, man, what's bugging you? And I said, I was sparring the other day with one of my top students. And I said, I got to be honest with you. At the very least, we tied, and I felt like he got the better of me. And my buddy looked at me and he goes, congratulate yourself. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, you've taught him everything you know and then some. You've given all of yourself. You didn't hold back like saying, okay, I always hold back these secrets so I can always, beat you up kind of thing. And I thought about it and went, wow, that's true. I never held back anything from this kid. And so what? If he went on to become better? I mean, I can't tell you that he was that day. I felt like, when we sparred, I felt like, wow, I feel like he got the better of me, and I'd never had a student who'd done that. And I look at it now and go, that is the definition of leadership. I didn't hide anything from him. I wasn't holding back so I could, down the road go, oh, okay, I got you. Why would I do that? And so I look at what Trump does and I say, he's telling the world, look, here's the secret formula. Go take a look. This is, if you want to be the best you can be, you better be a little bit self-centric. Make Poland great again. I just saw an article that the Polish whatever they call him, the prime minister, whatever, this person is now going, we're going to make Poland great again. I'm looking at Donald Trump to do that. The other day, I talked about how the other leaders of the world who have this idea of, kumbaya, and we're all, I'm not going to make Britain best. I'm not going to make Canada best. I'm not going to make Mexico best. I'm not going to make whatever. And we went through all these different countries, and they're different. France and Germany, they're different leaders, and what's going on with them, and their poll numbers are dropping. And they're wondering, why are their poll numbers dropping? And in only one case, which I believe it was the case of Macron, he's now adopting some of the same policies of Donald Trump. And that's a big transition for him because he's in a socialist society. He's inherited a socialist society. But if he can withstand the idea that he's going to drop his polling a bit before it rises, he'll survive it. And the reason why he'll survive it is because he has to, if he survives it, it's going to be because he says, I don't care what you think. The quality of a leader is a standard you set for yourself. Now I'm not telling you disregard other people. Barack Obama disregarded us when it came to Obamacare. He says, I don't care what you think. You need to have this. The claim was 31 million people don't have insurance. 300 million people do. Of the 31 million who don't, we're going to take a little bit from each of you so we can get it to them, but in the end, it'll be better for everybody. And he sold that lie. And you know why we knew it was a lie? Because it was government getting involved, putting something on top of something that doesn't already work. And that's what a putz does. That's not what a leader does. Barack Obama, if he wanted to lead in healthcare, he would have said, before we touch healthcare, we're going to address the key issues. And look, we can rehash this. Just give me a minute. But he would have said, we're going to get rid of the waste and the fraud. We're going to really clamp down on that. And we're going to make sure that if you ever commit waste and fraud in healthcare, you're done. You can't be part of the system. And that's on both sides, as a doctor or as a consumer. So that pretty much eliminates it. It says, I'm not going to be fraudulent. I'm not going to be somebody that's trying to, bilk the system, because once you're off, the government will no longer put you back on. Secondly, he could have said, we're going to make it to where all these plans cross state lines. It isn't a California plan or whatever plan. It's going to cross state lines. And he could have done that. He didn't do it. If he'd done those two things, number one, the first thing that would have happened was he'd have tons of money coming back into the system. And look, I don't know, we chronicled a bunch of these people that were just bilking Medicare and Medicaid out of crazy amounts of money. That alone would have been huge, but he didn't do that. And then he could have easily looked at what the savings were and said, we're going to direct that part of the money into this other program that takes care of these other people voluntarily. But you guys, now we have a system that works. It'll all stay the same. But he didn't do that because he decided he was going to go into a system, force you to do it. That's not leadership. Leadership isn't forcing you to do it. As I said earlier, it's the ability to gain willful cooperation. Short break. We'll be back in just a bit. Keep it.
Kevin Jackson
on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177, or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.